Hey loves, it's your girl Neicy. I am back once again with Queen's Wisdom. Being in my 50s, I feel like I have a lot of different input, a lot of different perspective, a lot of words of wisdom to talk on different subject matters. As a licensed family and marriage counselor, a therapist, crisis specialist, and a success speaker, I want to be able to elevate you and push you to live to the highest level of excellence that your life can go to. So that is what this channel is all about. If you get anything out of that, if you get anything out of what I'm saying, I want you to please turn the like button blue or black. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. I want to hear from you. I want to connect with you. Today, I want to really talk about a subject on coping with grief and loss during the holidays, because this is really a time where people that have been through some extenuating circumstances, some losses, they are either triggered or it really brings about a state of depression. You hear a lot of times this is the highest season for suicide with people, and so I thought that that was a really good subject matter for around this time to be able to talk on. So coping with grief and loss during the holiday times. A lot of times a loss can happen when something that we really thought would work out, something that we was really into, something that we loved or someone that we loved, a situation that we really like. It's not just about loss through death. We're talking about like a whole spectrum of loss. So loss can happen in different ways. Loss can even happen when you decide that you no longer want to be a part of that, but still it comes with a sense of grief. And so loss is when you go through something that causes you to feel that you no longer have what you thought you had, or you no longer are able to interact with that person, whether it's through death or whether it's through just divorce or separation, whether it's even come from a job that you once went to all the time. Maybe you were there for a few years, maybe you were there for, a while, and you really thought that that job was going to be, somewhere that you would really be able to stay at. You enjoyed your co-workers, or you enjoyed just doing what you was doing, or you even enjoyed the money that you were making. But see, a loss is still a loss, and people experience loss in a different way. And so I know in the past, a lot of times people taught on the stages of grief that people can go through when they suffer a loss. So you suffer a loss, and then the grief comes about after you suffer the loss. And so in the past, a lot of times people would speak on, you would go through the anger, and then you would go through the bargaining, and you would go through just the guilt. You would go through just different stages, the depression. And so right now, what I have been learning, that sometimes it's not always just about like you go through a stage. Everybody is different, and there's a whole lot of different variables. Some people, they may not experience anything in the beginning. Some people become just enmeshed into just moving on, and so they don't experience maybe the different things in the beginning. But as time goes on, they end up may experience some just like regrets or depression from it, or just having the physical reactions from it. When you go through grief, there are like different, like even cognitive changes that can go on. Sometimes you may not even be able to sleep. And so just trying to know that when you're triggered during the holiday times, just to be able to either help someone else through, or even knowing the information to help you to be able to move through the different things that you are experiencing during the holiday times due to a loss, and then being able to move through that. So one of the main things is just really being able to surround yourself around people. You want to be able to interact, even if sometimes if you don't feel like I want to be around people. I want you just to maybe volunteer, do some volunteer work, do something that is going to just get your mind off of that. So on Christmas time, I know they have a lot of different places that you can volunteer, and you can be able to just, be around other people. You can still be able to share in good times, even though you may not have that person around anymore. You can be able to still live your life in such a way that will just help you through. When you go through grief and loss, there's also this spiritual connection that can also be tied to it. Because many times when people go through something really deep, it makes them think on outside of maybe just the surface level. They begin to think in a different kind of way that causes them to just either reflect or reminisce on life and the significance of life, and help them to just think maybe that their purpose is even deeper than just being here. I know for myself, when I had a divorce loss, and I didn't realize the effect that it would have on me afterwards, and I went through the depression, I went through the anger, I went through the bargaining, I went through a lot of different emotions, a lot of different feelings. But as I moved through that, I began to have a deeper sense of what am I really supposed to do with my life. Although the marriage didn't work, I felt like maybe there's a deeper purpose. And I tell this story a lot of times where I felt God had spoken to my spirit and said, even though that didn't work for you, your value and who you are as a woman, as a child of God, as someone that is here for a bigger reason than just maybe being in a marriage. That's my personal take on it. And so sometimes when we lose things and when we feel like the whole world is over, or it just seems like we're never going to make it through that feeling of why did this happen to me, that remorse, you can go a little bit deeper and say that even though it didn't work, I know that there's greater things for me. I know that there's a deeper level that I'm supposed to be at. And a lot of times when things do happen, God is trying to steer you into a different direction. That door closed, that means something else is meant for you. And so people go through a lot of loss and then have the grief behind the loss, and a lot of times can be triggered during the holiday time. So if you work with people, or you have someone in your family, or you have some friends, just being able to be there with them and encourage them to, get involved and being around people and volunteering, and still trying to enjoy and appreciate the memories of the past, whether it was through death or through that person no longer being there, or even through the loss of a pet. Sometimes people really have went through a whole lot because of the loss of their pet. And so there's so many different things that people experience from going through a loss or having a loss. And there's different kinds of losses. So I don't want you to just to think about loss because of death. There's losses that we can experience because, we no longer have that thing that we really thought that would always be there for us, whether it's through the loss of a job, whether it's through a loss of a spouse, whether it's through a loss of a friendship, a relationship. There's all kind of losses that we can experience, and we go through the grief because of this loss. And so you want to be able to understand that and know that this is all a part of it, but then you can do some things that can cause you to think in a deeper way about your life. It can cause you to go into a different direction. It can cause you to learn something that maybe you hadn't thought about. It can cause you to appreciate, just really who you are as a person even more. Cause you to really just be true to yourself. Be true to who you are. Even though you experience that heart-wrenching loss, you can still learn how to be true to yourself even in a more deeper way. And so being able to coping with grief and loss. How can I get to the next step? Many times I encourage people to really reach out to someone that is a professional person, like a therapist, that can help you through if it's something that you feel that it's really causing you a lot of pain and anxiety, and you need to be able to work with someone to work through the feelings and talk about it. When you're healing, it's a part of being able to accept what happened. But then there's also a part where you can be able to surrender to greater things happening. They always say after the storm, then the rainbow shows up. After the rain, then you have this beautiful array of colors. And so out of your loss, you can still get something good, or you can experience something good. You can be able to appreciate the memories of it, and then you can be able to go a little bit deeper in your own personal life. On your own personal life, thinking of life as not to take life for granted. You don't want to ever take it for granted, because life is a gift. And when you suffer a loss, you realize, hey, this doesn't feel good, but I'm still here. And because I'm still here, there is a opportunity for me to live my life in such a way that can show up and make a difference, and being true to yourself even more. And so suffering with loss and grief, but still being able to live your life in such a way that you can still make a profound difference in the world, and still show up for yourself and the way that you need to show up for you, and also touch someone else's life. So just wanted to talk about coping with grief and loss during the holiday times, whether it's for yourself or whether it's for someone that you know, to be able to encourage them. If you like anything that I've been talking about on today, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's your girl Neicy, coming to you with Queen's Wisdom. All right, have a wonderful day.